everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, or A Hobbit's Reading List, and I'm recovering from being sick still, but I'm gonna try to push through and get some good reading done, so let's see what I can do. So I have started listening to Last Summer at the Golden Hotel. This is a story about two families who own a hotel in the Catskills, and it opened up in like 1960. It was a hotel that, followed the trend of like summer homes, pretty much, of like a place where people would go spend all summer in the Catskills. There were a lot of other hotels around them that operated in the same way, but it was like more a newer one. But over time, that trend sort of stopped. Like, people stopped spending all summer in the Catskills and stuff like that. They would go to like Europe or something like that. So those sorts of resorts in the Catskills have declined. And by 2019, the Golden is like one of the last ones, and it is not doing well, and they get an offer to sell, to pretty much have the Golden be destroyed and rebuilt into a casino. So the two families that own the property have to, come together and talk about what they're going to do, which provides an opportunity for some fences to be mended. There was like some sort of big conflict like 10 years before that, have sort of separated them a little bit, but they each have their own things going on. As of right now, where I'm like 30% through it, and I've gotten 4 different perspectives. Yeah. Which, like, okay. I that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of so many different perspectives, but 4 seems to be working right now. But if there's more added on, I might get a little annoyed. My thing right now with it is like, not a lot is happening. Like, so I've gotten 4 different perspectives, and with each one, it sort of goes into what is going on in their life outside of the Golden, and like it also gives like backstory for their entire life. So it's like the actual story, the actual plot hasn't like moved much, but I know a lot about these characters, and so I'm kind of like, oh, okay. I sort of wonder at like how that was done. So right now it's fine, like it's fine, but I'm really curious about the plot development and how that will happen, and if it will get better, because right now I'm like, oh, I'm at 30% of the book, and they just got to the Golden Hotel, and like they haven't even had a conversation about selling or anything. Like, the main plot isn't being addressed. So yeah, it's just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I track how much I read every day, and I'm like, okay, I made a good start on Last Summer, and then when I plugged in, I'm like, oh no, I'm at 30% of the book. So that's just like, So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens. Hopefully today I can get some reading done in Attachment, which is the psychology book that I have to read this month, so that can finally be done, because I started that book like a year ago and I would just like to finish it. But that's sort of my plan. I'm gonna eat breakfast and get started on the day, so I'll check in with you guys in a bit. So this is I'm gonna stand like this so I have good light. I wanted to check in really quick. I'm not done really. Like, I thank God for audiobooks because I'm about 60% through Last Summer at the Golden Hotel, and I've figured out sort of like what my issue with it is that it's a lot of telling. Like, there's a lot of exposition. Like, I feel like the story didn't actually start until like 45% through the book, and I know way too much like background information and not enough about the actual story of like whether or not they should sell the hotel or something. Like, and any momentum that is made with the plot is like buried in like all this like background information about like the relationships and the characters, and this is what they thought, 10 years ago or something. Like, it's a lot. So I'm not expecting this book to like be highly rated. I would honestly be surprised if it gets a 3.5. Like, this might be the first like 2.53, because it's just not, it's quick, which I can appreciate, but like it's just not that interesting to just get all this background information and get very little like development. The fact that like things didn't really start developing until halfway through the book is just like, okay, that's a pacing issue. It's not my favorite. But yeah, I've other than that, like, I've not really read. I've been sort of down all day. I'm like cooking right now, which is the first time I've cooked since before we left. But I've just been like very low energy, and I obviously still recovering from being sick, but it's just like kind of a bummer. So hopefully I I probably won't finish Last Summer at the Golden Hotel tomorrow, but I will get very close, and I'll probably finish it Saturday. But hopefully I can get some reading done and actually have more information to share with you all. So good morning. I meant to film yesterday before I went to Chicago, but that's fine. I finished listening to Last Summer at the Golden Hotel, and it's my lowest rated book of the year. It's a 3 star. Which, like, I'm really not complaining about having read decent to good books. It's just funny, I think, that I don't have more variety. But that's okay. I would say, like, it's hard because the books are Last Summer at the Golden Hotel, like, is fine. Like, that's why it's a 3 star. So I stand by it. It's not like I'm being like too generous. In fact, I'm actively trying to be like really judgmental. For me, with Last Summer at the Golden Hotel, it was all about the pacing. You know, the first half of the book didn't really need to be there, or like I guess all of the book needed to be there, but like getting so much background information at the beginning of the book that lasted half of it, like that was just like, that didn't make any sense to me. It was too much. I didn't care about the characters at that point, and so I didn't care about all the detail. And there were way too many perspectives. I think I think there was a perspective from like 3/4 of the family, and between the two families there were, oh god, I don't even know, maybe a dozen characters, maybe, I around there. And so like I think we got the perspective of like at least like 8 or 9 of them. Like that was too much. And some of them were only for like one chapter. And so it's just like yeah, it felt a little unorganized. The pacing was weird. Like most of the story was taking place in this one week, and then there was a 5 month time jump, and then a 1.5 year time jump from there, and then like a 10 year time jump from there. So it was just like, okay, I appreciate getting a conclusion, right? Because I always complain about that. I appreciate I got a conclusion, but it felt weird. Like it didn't feel like good storytelling. Like if this was a fan fiction, then I would have liked it. I would have liked it a lot. But it's not a fan fiction. It's a published novel. And so yeah. I realize I'm not really like making this sound great. The story itself was fine. It, just not my ideal way of storytelling. I guess that's really all I can say. So I'm going to head to work and start listening to Bonds of Brass. So that should be my last audiobook of the month, because it's about 10 hours. So yeah, I'll probably finish it, like Friday or something. I have been reading, but I'm still trying to work on finishing this one book that, I'm doing a different vlog for. So I'm not really talking about it here, but I'm gonna really I want to finish it today so that I can just, one, be done because I'm not enjoying myself, and two, so that I can share other books with you. Yeah. So I will probably, my next book will probably be the Woodhouse book, which is A Prefect's Uncle. It's a school story, which I'm not necessarily looking forward to, but I need to get it done. So I'm hoping I can power through that. I'll go ahead and pick out what my next book after that will be, and then use that to motivate myself. So that's the plan. I'm not wrapping up the vlog yet because I'm gonna listen to Bonds of Brass today, and so I will check in a bit with what I thought about that. Hi everyone. So today's Monday. I started listening to Bonds of Brass by Emily Skrutskie, I think is how you pronounce her name. I listened to about a quarter of it because it's only like 10 hours long, and I listen at like 1.25 speed. So I got a decent amount done yesterday. Sorry if my face is like shiny. I just got back from personal training. And working out when you're like still recovering from being sick is so hard. he went easy on me today. I knew it. But anyway, so Bonds of Brass is about this guy named Edian, and he is an orphan, and his planet, it's a sci-fi book, his planet and the empire that it was part of was conquered by the Umber Empire. but he's like put into like the Umber Empire's military program, and he just he adapts. And so he's like, all right, well, that sucked and it was horrible. Wish it didn't happen, but I'm here now, so I'm going to continue like living. And so he's actually like a really like top of his class cadet pilot person. And his roommate is this guy named Gal, who Edian is attracted to, and there seems to be a mutual attraction. But he finds out that Gal is the heir to the Umbra Empire, which brings up a whole host of like conflicting feelings. So, what I like about this is that the banter is really good, and there's a subtle acknowledgement of the mutual attraction, but nothing has happened yet. They're together, alone, like they're not together, like they're alone together, and so there's a lot of like conversation and processing everything, and so I appreciate that. It's a little hard though because it is sci-fi, and I saw online someone compared it to like Star Wars fan fiction of like Finn and Poe, and I can see it. I can see it, except for the different like beings. It is very Star Warsy from an outsider. Like, I don't watch Star Wars. The only Star Wars thing I've ever watched is Mandalorian, and that was because I had COVID and I didn't have literally anything else to do. So, so I don't know a ton about Star Wars, but I know, there are a lot of like Finn and Poe shippers, and while I've not watched anything with those characters, I'm like, you know what, I can see it. There's also something to be said about how to say about having colonialism as like a main part of your book when you are a white author. Like there, because I had a thought, and so I googled the book, and apparently I wasn't the only person who had this thought of like, you are a white author, and you are writing about a different race because Edian is darker complexioned, and I don't know about the physical descriptions of any other character that came from this conquered empire. But the way, because I'm listening to the audiobook, the way that the characters from the Umber Empire, they have English accents. And so I'm just kind of like, you're not even like it's fine. I don't know. There's something uncomfortable about it, and I don't know what it is, but there's something that like, if you're a white author writing about colonialism but not acknowledging that it is colonialism, like nowhere does it say that it's colonialism, but there is an acknowledgement that the reason this other empire was conquered was for resources, not necessarily people, although the fact that the orphans are drafted into the military program is a little interesting, but for like metal, which is, yeah, so I have feelings about it. And while I have seen that the author acknowledged that aspect of it, I don't think it's gonna come up in the book, which sucks. So yeah, so there, I have feelings. The romance part is nice. I like it. I like a slow burn. I like sexual tension. I like banter. I like that. But it's the other stuff that I'm kind of like, oh, okay. So yeah. And maybe I'm just expecting too much of this book. It's a young adult book. Maybe I'm just expecting too much. I don't know. But so those are my thoughts. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog here. I'm gonna, jump into next week. Hopefully next week I'm feeling better. Like the video to send me well wishes so that I feel better. Leave a comment, subscribe, click the notification bell, all that good stuff. I really, really appreciate it. We're almost at 100 subscribers, so that's cool. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.